Hey everybody, it's Bob Crossan, Senior Managing Editor for Water and Waste Digest, and today I'm here with Joe Holliday. He's the Business Development Director of the Water Team for the U.S. market for Danfoss Drives. So Joe, thank you for being on the call today. We appreciate your time. We want to talk about drives as a sensor. We actually ran an article recently on this, and we wanted to talk to you a little more in depth with it. So why don't we just kind of start there? Can you explain from a high level what this means, how this works?
Sure. Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me today. Appreciate the
Yeah.
opportunity. So condition-based monitoring is a way to take the information that's in your drive, and it's probably in the majority of the premium performance drives today, just by the nature of the way they work. The information's probably there. It's a way to take some of that information and provide it to the user or the customer to do some things with. And particularly our world, we use it to monitor the performance of your motor and the health of your motor, and some cases the performance of your process, so that you can have some predictive maintenance capability or some heads up warning that something may be about to go wrong before you get to any kind of a catastrophic failure that causes you emergency response type stuff.
hmm Yeah, and I understand that a lot of this comes down to even just understanding the vibration going through a system and how that changes can indicate some things may be wrong or are working properly.
Right, right. So this has actually been launched for just about a year. We do three phases. We do, as you mentioned, a vibration analysis.
hmm
We also do a motor stator winding health, if you will. And then we do the load envelope. And the load envelope is kind of the overall encompassing system monitoring. We start the drive, we tell it to monitor all the performance measurements that the drive sends to the motor, voltages, currents, frequencies, and what have you. It looks at those and it builds a baseline, and it says, this is my baseline model of where I'm supposed to be. If any of my parameters fall outside of that baseline, as a drive, I'm going to tell my owner, hey, I got a problem here. Something's happening, and you might want to come check this out.
hmm Yeah. So how did this type of technology come to fruition? Where did it come from? How did you guys discover that
It
this is
pretty much
possible?
started. Sure, sure. It pretty much started out of our R&D guys, and in today's world, everybody's looking for the next generation, the better mousetrap, how to differentiate yourself, things like that. And the information that we have is in the drive already. And we said, if we could use that information and provide it to a customer, provide it to the owner, what benefit would have for them? And those things work out that now you can have this predictive system instead of just having a device on the wall that controls the speed of your motor or the speed of your pump or your process. Now you have a device on the wall that can do that, as well as alert you to the health and the conditions of what the operating cycle is.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like you can really streamline a process a little bit more. I mean, in conjunction, I'm thinking smart water wise, in conjunction with other sensors and whatnot, you add this into the mix, and all of a sudden you have a whole new way to kind of understand how your system's operating and know when to do maintenance on things before
Sure,
it's becomes
sure,
like a really
exactly.
big problem.
Yep. Think about in a real world situation, most customers will do some sort of vibration analysis on the rotating equipment, whether it's a monthly thing, a quarterly thing, whatever. And that typically requires somebody to go out with an external sensor. They're usually very expensive, by the way. Mount them to a pump or a motor, let it run for a given amount of time, record the data, and take it back and build it into a base log. With our system, you get the opportunity to do it real time 24/7 at a fraction of the cost, but it's live. It's actually monitoring what's happening right now, real world. And if things start to fall outside of your performance limits, it tells you, hey, I've got a problem. You should come and look at this before it's a catastrophic problem.
Yeah.
So,
So when it comes to implementing these types of technologies, what are some of the challenges that you guys run into with getting them into the hands of operators and plant managers?
right. So The biggest thing is, I hate to say it's a marketing issue, right? But you got to get the word out. And this is one of the ways we've done it. We've got YouTube videos out there on smart technology and condition-based monitoring and things of that sort. The biggest thing is to educate the people of what the capability is that's in the drive itself, in the product, right? So, and how can that benefit them? So we've explained it to them from a vibe analysis standpoint. We can also explain it to them from a cost saving standpoint. Wouldn't it be beneficial to you that if your system started to degrade or change, wouldn't you like to know that before it got to a point where you had to do serious maintenance work, where you could maybe just do some preventive maintenance work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I know one of the other big things that Danfoss is really pushes is energy efficiency, specific, especially, I mean, you're a drive company, obviously. Energy
sure.
efficiency, big
Yep.
big part of your mission. Like how does this type of thing where you're using the drive as a sensor, how does that influence the energy efficiencies that you can gain within a
Sure.
system?
Basic energy efficiency in a drive comes from the speed of the motor. The physics laws of affinity tell us that if I reduce the speed of the motor by 20%, I cut the energy required to run that motor by 50%, right? And that's a motor system. So you have to kind of look at the pump that you're using and where the efficiency of the pump is as well. But when you're talking about condition-based monitoring and energies, it's not a savings from that aspect as much as it is from a maintenance aspect. So there's a cost savings there. Reducing the cost to run the motor is an energy savings, but reducing a cost to maintain that motor is also a financial savings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you said that this type of technology and this usage is something that you guys have been showcasing for about a year or so now. It's still
Right.
kind of in its infancy. How far do you think these types of things can be pushed?
Hmm.
What's down the line, I guess?
Right, right. So right now we do those three things. We do stator winding, so we monitor the
Mhm.
condition of the motor stator windings. We do the vibe analysis, and we do this load envelope. Those are just the first three variables that we monitor, and this is just the first release. I can only imagine, and I can't be held accountable for this, but I can only imagine with our R&D guys what they are. They're developing more and more things to come later.
Mhm.
For example, one thing I know, the vibe analysis is what we call a single axis vibration analysis. But in the future, we'll have a multiple axis vibration analysis capability coming. So there will be more advancements, and follow on future products will have more of these capabilities in them based on the processing power in the drive itself.
Yeah.
The,
That just
the information is all there. It's just a matter of what you do with it.
Yeah. Well, continuous improvement is a regular thing that
Exactly.
I hear. So
Yep.
this is
Yep.
just part of that plan, right?
Yep. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yep.
So if people wanted to learn a little bit more about about this process and whatnot, what are some good resources they can go to for that?
Right. So you can go to danfossdrives.com. That would take you in the US market, would take you to the Danfoss Drives website. And there will be some links there for using your drive as a sensor, condition-based monitoring information. You can also go to YouTube, search Danfoss Drives on YouTube, and you'll find our YouTube video that shows or showcases how to use your drive as a sensor and the capabilities that it gives you.
Yeah, awesome. And you can also find an article on www.mag.com. So we'll
Exactly
link
right.
that below.
It's funny because I researched the article and then I realized that I watched your webcast or the podcast. I listened to that a while
Ah,
ago as
yeah.
well. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. With we
that was
did
a good one.
interview Mads a while back. So
Yep. Yep.
well, yeah, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. If we, we look forward to talking to you more and hopefully seeing you at a future show.
Oh, that'd be great. Happy to help. Thanks for your time.
Yep, thanks.